Monday, April 28th, 2025. This is a hybrid meeting offering in-person remote participation.
It's right here.
Yeah, but I have it here.
Oh, okay.
but
Never
thank you.
mind.
It's being recorded for future rebroadcast and posted to the on-demand on the town website, eastham-ma.gov. With us today, myself, Jim Russo, the chair. Bonnie Nuendel is absent. Faith Casarella is here. Kathy Bunnell and Kate Paradise. Will one of you take the notes, minutes?
I'll take them.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Because I did miss a couple of weeks. Right.
Summer concerts, well, without wanting, we don't have much of a,
Do we want to do the minutes?
oh, yeah.
Approve the minutes.
I
And
think we do.
I had a question
Well,
about the
no,
prior
no.
month's minutes because,
Well, no, we're going to review the minutes for March 24th, 2025.
Mhm. And I'll make a motion that they be accepted with thanks to Faith.
And I second. With great gratitude.
With more gratitude than you do.
I just have one correction,
Oh, okay.
and it's just a typo. The very last line, next meeting, April 28th, it should be 2025.
Oh, yeah, I thought 2002 was a good year.
Oh, all right. 202.
Yeah.
You
Was
were
that-
there, you might be old, but not that old.
Are you sure?
I'll change that before it gets sent to the clerk's office.
Okay.
So, all in favor?
I
Aye.
It's unanimous.
And so, Jim, I did have a question and
Hang
none of
on,
us,
let me break for a second. Okay, hey, you're on.
last month, it was the three of us.
Okay,
I guess we were wondering about a quorum because there were 2 votes in favor of the minutes, 1 abstention because the person had not attended the February meeting. So we went ahead and passed the minutes with 2, 1, 2, or 2 absent. So 2 in favor, 1
right here.
abstention.
and
And I didn't know if that was proper, if we
I
needed to
can't answer.
repass them.
You're asking the wrong person. I suggest that you bring that to the clerk and ask them. And I'm not so sure. These people that abstained because they didn't, but they were there. But that doesn't mean that we didn't have a quorum. They just didn't want to vote on it.
Okay, so that was what I
But I
thought, was
think-
they were part of the quorum
Yeah.
in voting, they
And-
just
and I
said
also
that they
believe-
couldn't
Oh, that's
vote on it.
interesting.
I
Okay.
also believe that, maybe you're not there, but from what you read, and these are pretty
Mhm.
general,
Mhm.
that there's really very little need for abstention unless
Mhm.
something serious was happening.
Right,
But
agree.
again, that's
I just
something.
wanted to ask. It's-
It
No.
was always my understanding.
It's a good-
that
it's a
we
good
voted
question.
as written.
Yeah.
And that's all we did is.
And on the
vote.
finance committee, when someone is absent, it is expected that they will abstain from voting for the minutes of that meeting.
Okay, well,
Because
that helps.
with finance, we're getting into such deep
Yes.
detail, but with this, we all know each
Yeah,
other,
I
really.
get it.
And
And
if 2
it's a-
people approve it, the third could say with confidence, yes, I'll join them, even
Mhm.
though I wasn't here.
No, but if that's
What
the
if you voted
case.
no? So it would have passed 2-1,
Mhm.
basically the
Well,
same.
but the quorum needs to be 3 in favor,
No.
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 3
In
voting.
attendance.
3 voting,
Okay,
that's it.
that's what that was the
In
key, that was the
attendance.
linchpin.
Right.
And that's what I thought, that's why we pushed it through. I just wanted to make sure
And
with
if
the
it's-
grand poobah
And if
here,
it's a problem, then we'd never be able to.
do business.
And I don't think we're really have anything that's going to be too big of a problem for us to.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you.
So what is the last we heard about the summer concerts? That, was everything lined up? My understanding is everything was lined up.
Okay, so on your back page, this is everything that we got. My understanding from corresponding with Bonnie on the phone was that she was sending everything out to everybody. So, I mean, she knows, she's been doing it for years. It's not been a problem, so I'm not worried about it. But those are copies of our two ads
Right.
that we had.
And when I was upstairs this morning on an issue around the search committee, I was asked, you are a member of the Visitor Service Board. I said, yes. They said, well, we have invoices here from the, I think it's wherever, Provincetown Independent. Your committee is out of money. I said, talk to Jim. So just letting you know.
They know that, but I'm not gonna worry about it.
Yeah.
You know, they can pay that, July 1st. With them, they like everybody to suffer, so they'll make it August 15th, so that everybody knows who's in charge.
Or what they can do is pay it and they can
Of
put it
course
into
they
the
can pay
budget
it.
for
So
next
that's
year.
that was the invoice, the Provincetown Independent.
Yeah, I just,
Oh,
it wasn't anything to do, it was to do with the bands,
I've
but it
gone
was,
over this with them before, that what we're doing, what it is, and yeah, it isn't like, they don't have the money in our account, but they have the money,
right.
you know.
Jim, do you think it would be a good idea for us in the future to try to reestablish ourselves as having our own budget line, our own account? Do you recommend
You
that?
do.
Aren't we buried in general funds?
Visitor Service Board has a separate line item, right?
I didn't see it on the budget.
Maybe it doesn't.
Jim, I don't see where it is.
I think it's part of the discretionary funds or whatever.
No,
In this.
General funds.
it was supposed to. This was supposed to, our money for the information booth got buried into,
Ah,
and I asked Kate. And it's like, no one knows where it is.
I couldn't find it.
I'm talking about the
The
information
information
booth.
booth.
Mhm.
But this, I thought was still a line item, no?
I thought it was too, but I went through the budget with a magnifying glass. I couldn't find it, and then
And you're on that committee.
I'm on the finance
Yeah.
committee. I'm brand new, but I'm not, I don't feel comfortable asking that question because there may be things behind the scenes I'd prefer that, the chair of this committee say, where are we located in the
I could
book?
care less. So long as we get the money. I mean,
Mhm.
I get your point.
Mhm.
And the fact that they bury it someplace, that makes no sense to me.
Well, I can tell you that
It just doesn't make sense.
with the search committee,
It's just.
They don't
Because how
have-
do you do a budget?
the
If you
search
don't-
committee does not have any budget at all.
Right. you're
So
right.
we
Made that
now
clear.
have we had the need for some things that are gonna help us to promote the town,
Mhm.
to get people to volunteer on committees. So what we ended up purchasing was approved and it came out of the discretionary funds. So maybe that's the way to do business, and that way you don't have to deal with FE and, things being put into your budget that
They're
you're
not gonna do
finance-
that with this.
No, No, you
this
can't do
is-
that with this
And
committee.
besides,
Okay.
I mean, we have too big of a, we have a small budget, but we have.
the
big
other
budget.
thing is, they need to have this, they don't have this committee by choice. They have this committee because the state said,
Oh,
you
yeah.
have to,
Right,
It's on the charter.
you have to do this.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
on the charter, which means it has to be there, and your charge, the charge to this committee is very specific. Some committees, they could dissolve it, wouldn't matter. This one is on the charter and it
Because
cannot
it's
be.
mandated by the
mandated.
state. It's mandated by the state, and that's why it's in the town charter.
And the town charter is the bedrock upon which it's like it bedrocks the bylaws. So, yeah. Okay, well,
Moving on. No map, we're all set.
mhm.
Budget, we're not dealing with, other than the fact that they don't want to pay anything, and rather than contact me, which they know that is the way it should be. But then again, I sent something to Kayla last week asking for just a link so that I can inform everybody what the wastewater thing is about. And I've yet to hear, so.
She also is in a new job now. And she has a new office beside the kitchen. She was moving today. Her job now is solely communication, and they have yet to hire an assistant for Jackie. And I just found that out because I was looking all over the building for her.
Well, it's communication is what I wanted.
Cool, then
Because
you're all
no,
set.
No, it was based on, they sent out a constant contact e-blast about wastewater. And I said, oh, this would be great for the membership to
Right.
see. And
yeah,
if they could just, because when you do constant contact, there's a URL
Mhm.
associated with it that I could have just put in and put a little blurb and hit the link, and it would give all the information, and then it would allow you to go to the,
And she's
wherever it
right
is in
there,
the-
her office is right
I
there.
don't care, I already did it, I'm not doing it again.
Okay.
Time is of the essence for me.
Yeah. Yep.
And then I have the job fair that I haven't done a damn thing about, and that's Wednesday.
Okay,
I mean, printing stuff,
yep,
so. But not that I could print much sooner, but I gotta
okay,
get
so we're
going.
not discussing any of the budget,
no,
there's nothing,
no,
No.
except that we're out of money, okay.
We're out of money, but we're gonna have plenty of money when the new season
on
starts.
July 1st.
And again, we went through all of this with Jackie and Kayla. About, okay, we know that there's the first, no one said to cancel the June concert. But June concert's June 30th, they wouldn't get the bill until
July
Right.
15th.
July 1st to begin with.
It's all good.
And I never see them going out of their mind trying to race to pay somebody.
No.
At least nothing that we've dealt with, have I seen it. And even when it comes to the money that we need for the information booth for to pay employee, and that's just for paying employees. They just, as far as I'm concerned, take the sweet old time. I almost think it has to be deliberate that they hold off. Everything's more important than what we do apparently. Anyhow, banners, something Kate and I had discussed. There was a question about if they put up more, if they do put the hardware on the poles out in front of, that are on Route 6, in front of Town Hall, police station, in front of the green poles that are right on Route 6. It's like they, Sarah, I think it was Sarah brought up to you, changing them out. And so when in my talks with Kate, I said, well, why take them down? Let's just put the like the welcome to Eastham ones that don't have to change.
And
No
don't-
change.
They can
That was
stay
a
year
great
round.
idea.
until
is a
they
great
wear
idea.
out, and that
Until they
way
wear
we're not having to
Yeah.
have a
Yeah.
police detail every time they get changed.
I thought that was a great idea.
And everybody was in favor of that last
Oh,
month.
Is that something?
Yeah,
that-
we talked
Yeah, we
about it,
talked about it. We just said that we
and we,
Oh, for
and I
goodness sakes.
we
gave
would
you-
take it into.
gave you full credit for the idea,
We did.
and we were all.
Read the minutes.
Well, you know, I did at one point.
You're a very good person, yeah.
Okay, so we can take
So
that
we
up.
could-
So we're not discussing that this time.
No.
so-
Well, no, we did say this matter will be taken into consideration at the next BS
Oh,
meeting,
And-
so.
And we have not yet heard back from Sarah, or, she's gonna be in touch with me as soon as Verizon gives
well, it
their
takes,
okay.
I know it takes.
It
a while
takes
for them
time.
to-
And we were
Let's
hoping before
figure it
the,
out.
the explosion of all the visitors, and
Mm.
you know what? I will nudge Sarah this week.
Well, can't we just tell her that to leave them up? That was our discussion?
Yes,
Yeah,
but they
yeah.
still have to be put up, and I don't know if any of those
True.
poles are the Verizon poles.
Yeah,
So I'll
but-
nudge her and let her know
But
that
just
we're
that
all,
this
We don't care
committee
if it's
isn't-
Verizon or. if
that they
it's-
need to get the permission from the
Yeah,
Verizon
That's, and
folks.
they know who owns which
Right.
post.
And we,
So but that's none of our business.
Right,
Our
but
only
we-
concern isn't Verizon, just that a utility company is going to be notified.
and the
Ours
timing,
is that is Farrell and having to change. the
right, but the
notice.
timing is that Farrell will not put them up until Verizon or whoever owns the poles
Yeah, we
says
get it.
you get the clearance. So hopefully it'll be
But is this
before
committee in
June
agreement
10th. Yes,
that the lighthouse welcome banners will
Yes.
stay year round? Are we
Yes.
all in agreement?
yes.
Did you want to vote on it?
I make a motion that we leave the lighthouse banners up year round on the Route 6 corridor.
My second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
It's unanimous.
Yay.
4-0, yeah.
okay.
Okay, moving on, new business. Let's do the easy one first. Linda Sassy contacted me and said, is it possible for us to meet in another location on June 23rd because of the, they'll be preparing for the special election, which is going to be June 24th. And I said, of course, it's not a problem at all. She suggested the library. I have not had the time to check. And they closed Mondays, as I recall, so couldn't do it today. But I mean, we can do it at the chamber office, of course, but if you'd rather have it on town property, or if they'd rather have it, I don't think they care.
Well, I think it's from the recording perspective but you've got the ability at your office, right?
Yeah, but we can do it at the library. We just have to check with
Deb.
No,
No,
Okay.
no.
somebody else. Is our May meeting is at the library also,
I think you're right.
because that was supposed to be
Oh,
election
yeah,
day.
and I had to ask, yes, I had to ask.
So it's now May and June because of the
Well,
special election for wastewater in June.
We have to see if the room's available,
Right.
because it's, might not be even posted yet. Getting access to the calendar, they only go a few months out.
Okay.
This might be,
I think we're okay.
And we had to switch the time too. Our next meeting is May and it's at 3:00 or 2:30 or something. You sent,
2:30.
yeah, you sent out a notice on that.
Okay,
Really?
I didn't see that. but
I didn't either. May is 2:30.
The next meeting is May
19th.
19th
And I
at
believe,
2:30
I believe it's at 2:30.
in the library.
Yes.
And the library is closed on Monday, so that means somebody has to let us in.
Jim had arranged that
Okay. But that's gonna be the same case
for June.
for June.
Yeah, there's a very nice little meeting room. It's right off
Right, it's great.
right on the main floor there in the back.
To the left, yeah,
Mhm.
where the piano is.
Is there a piano?
Are they open on Monday?
You had said they're
I thought
closed.
they were closed on Monday.
Let me check. Talk amongst yourselves.
I don't know, but you did get an approval for May 19th,
Right.
because you did send that
Yeah.
out.
Eastham Public Library,
So this would be June 23rd,
Eastham
two
Public
30
Library.
also, the same
hours.
person you'll have to go through.
I don't
whenever
know,
that is.
2:30, I think it was,
I've
Yes.
got 2:30, I've got
Yeah.
2:30 at the library.
There was a reason,
Monday, the library is open from 12 to 4.
that's why.
that's one, okay.
Tuesdays and Thursdays, 10 to 8, Wednesdays, Friday,
So this
Friday
is a
and
Monday, so
Saturday,
that's
10
why
to
it had
4.
to be at 2:30.
So try and do 2:30 again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, on the 23rd of June.
Yeah,
School library.
Who's going to book the space?
I'll contact Noel. And that brings us to this outdoor electronic sign. And that's on the bit on page 2. Packet.
Mm,
This is if there is any interest in this, then it would require us to do, we need at least 2 more companies to compare it to. And when we were talking, he started trying double side, and I said, I don't think so. I said, because I said, where it is and all of
Yeah.
that. However, I said, you know what? Price it anyway. Because let me see what the difference is. And quite frankly, they weren't all that outrageous. I don't see any need whatsoever for a 4x8. It's so big. I think it's overkill.
Where is it gonna be, Jim?
So this is to replace, that big banner stand that's out where they put the vinyl
Advertising the
banners
concert.
for the green.
Yes,
Okay.
okay, on the green,
that
okay,
stand,
yeah,
and they
across
just,
the
and they
street.
just
Stretched on the
rebuilt
corner.
that stand.
Yes.
Not that this is gonna happen quickly,
Mhm.
because we have to go through a whole funding process and a new year and warrants and all that.
Mhm.
I think that the 4x8 is way bigger than what we need.
Mhm.
I think our need is somewhere between the 3x6 and the 4x6.
Mhm.
Frankly, I don't see enough of a difference when it comes to this point. Whether we got, the money difference isn't big enough to separate them. I mean, you're talking a $4,000 difference.
And you're talking single-sided, right? Because you can't really see it from the flip
Well,
side.
that's just it. That's what I thought at first. But if we move the sign, and depending on the height, because he was saying, well, 10 foot, 12 foot, 14, 13 foot. And I'm like, oof, I don't know if we want anything that high.
Right.
And is that the top of the unit? And so these are things that require more discussion. The height, we can determine that. Well, if this unit was put closer to Route 6, rather than where it is, if it comes out closer to Route 6, and there's a little bike sign, I'm guessing the bike sign is probably our sign, whether it's ours or not. The bike sign can be moved 3 feet or whatever. It's one of the little
Mhm.
signs, and it
Mhm.
just has the emblem for the bike,
Mhm.
pointing out that the trail is down beyond the library. If that's moved, there's enough room there that to put a sign that would probably be just under the lowest branch of the maples that line Route 6,
Right.
so that you would be able to see it both ways. also.
Would it impede foot traffic?
No,
Okay, and would it,
no, no more than the one that we have now. In fact-
okay, all right,
in fact,
I'm
less-
just
less so.
asking because I'm concerned that if this is something that
It's
could
not on
be,
the sidewalk. This is on the
It's
green.
on the green.
okay, I get it, but I just wanna, I'm trying to envision it and I'm, what I'm thinking about is drivers seeing it from both sides, which I think is advantageous, particularly people going north. They're seeing it on the left. Coming back, they're seeing it on the right, which is, I think, more important, even though they're leaving north and coming into.
Well, wherever they're going, I think it would be helpful for them to see it either way.
I agree.
Because there's a ton of residents that, and not just for tourists, but for residents.
Right,
To be able to see it both ways.
I agree. I
Is,
couldn't agree more.
is it going to interfere optically when they do the creche and the menorah
No,
at Christmas?
this is
There's
on the
plenty-
corner.
Okay,
This is on the
the
corner.
corner.
Jim, is it in the same spot?
No,
No.
so
Explain to us
So-
where on the corner.
if. So here's a traffic light. And there's another sign that says something, there's some like big state sign, or I don't know if it's state or town. But these trees are along here. Right now, our sign, which is 10 foot
Yeah.
wide, is way over here. Can you see that his Samoset and his
Oh.
Route 6?
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
and here's the lights. His the superette,
yeah,
okay?
Yep.
And town hall's over here.
yep, okay.
So if you're coming down Route 6 this way, instead of looking there, you'd basically be
Right,
looking
it's right in eye view.
right here,
Yep.
okay? And I think, and maybe we'd have to lose one limb on the bottom of this, but that's it. But you'd be able to see it coming up
If it was
from
double sided.
Wellfleet, heading south,
Mhm.
or that way.
The only question that I have is the bike sign that you say is there. Is that a highway, a mass DOT?
No,
Sign.
no, and I don't care,
Okay, all right.
okay? I mean,
We can ask for forgiveness, not permission.
but and it could be, it might not be DOT, it might be the state DCR, so,
Right.
and I don't know. But that little thing
Could be.
shouldn't stop us, because let that move down a few
Yeah.
feet.
Right,
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm just asking the question
No,
for,
I get it,
yeah,
but we need to be prepared for the fight, from them, because
right,
naturally, the first thing that they're gonna use for an excuse is, well, that state, you can't do it, and I'm like,
not necessarily, I mean, I think we need to know, have all of our information and the
absolutely.
persuasion
And I'm just-
available that this is a
as-
more important
as
sign
one
than a
of my-
bike sign.
As one of my last acts, I just happened to come across this,
I love it.
and this particular company is based in New Hampshire. They make everything there except a few of the chips that might go inside it. And that's why he was able to say, I can hold these prices, because I told him my situation. I said, this won't be, we can't bring it.
Are they coming from China?
We can't bring this to a select board for consideration. We can do that, but it needs to go through a whole process
Right.
with town warrant and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And the warrant isn't drawn up
They
until.
have to be used to this.
And they
Of course
also,
they-
anything over a certain amount of money, you have to get 2 other vendors to bid, even
And
if it's
hence-
astronomical,
Hence,
right?
if it's over $1,500, I
Right.
know, they whipped that into me. When they put me up on the carpet and they just ignored when I told them that, you know what, you're right, except I know from the federal laws that there are times that you can bypass that for far more money, depending on what if there's a creative element to it, that it can only be done by a certain group.
Right,
That's not the case here.
right.
So there are plenty of other companies that you can check on, but this might give us a base. And this guy's like, well, we're the only ones in the US that actually do it's 100%
Yeah,
American made.
That's something.
Which
Which
is
is
said
which
for
is-
that.
which is a
Yes.
huge
That's huge.
thing.
That is huge, because we, with.
And it's right in
So-
New Hampshire. Yeah.
And yeah, if it breaks, it's like, get your butts down here and fix it.
Yes, it's close, and
Mhm.
it's interesting that he got the satellite view of Windmill Green, didn't he?
Oh, yeah.
He was able to call it up.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
So he
I'm
knows
near
what
it.
that
He goes,
base
"Just
we're
over
talking
here, it's
about."
everything."
His-
He goes,
that's
this is
his
gazebos. I
job.
said, no,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
gotta come up to the, and so it was neat watching him, put this together, when he did the
This
demo.
was
So
a
do you-
Zoom meeting, was it,
Yeah.
or?
Do
was-
do you need us to make a motion
No,
to
no.
move forward with this, or is this, or recommendation? Do you need a sense of the group that we want to move forward?
Well, first I'd want to get a sense of the group to see, is this of interest? I think you
Yes.
need to see the signs. These signs, it almost looks like your TV.
Mhm.
But there's 3 different, and I didn't put the third one down, but this link that's in here, and I'll
Ah.
get it to you,
Mhm.
Great.
that says Sarah's full pricing presentation.
Yeah,
Mhm.
So that, plus you want to go to a site,
Mhm.
but that will show you, they even have, I did 6mm and 9mm. And those are for the
Pixels,
the
right.
pixels. The 6mm is like twice what the 9 is. So it's fun, if you get the 9 and the 12, which I didn't bother putting on, you can't really put well, you can put some graphics, but they're not well defined.
Mm.
So if you wanted to have my picture up there sometime, as a memorial, hey, this is Jim
Just-
Day.
Just in case.
And have my picture, it won't get distorted if we use the 6mm. However.
darn.
We can't have that.
However, if you use the 12, you'd say, what's that blob?
Yeah.
Um,
He looks like he
um,
weighs 300 pounds.
So my recommendation would really be the 6mm. That if you're gonna do it right. It'll be easier, people will be able to see it faster. And these things, so like one thing that he said, for example, you don't have anything to put up there. He said, but you can always have welcome to Eastham. And he said it comes with a GPS chip already in it, so that you can also put up what the time and date is, and it's and weather, and have it there. Welcome to Eastham, the first landing place of the so and so, where the Doan family came, and then do whatever you want with it. But you can change that, and you could do different backgrounds with it, for one for fall, one for the different things that you could bring.
I wanted to say happy holidays. Christmas Bahamas.
Wouldn't it
Merry
be Christmas?
running
Merry
this,
Christmas.
Putting the info in.
So that should be
Santa welcomes
me-
you to Eastham.
a public sign like
Watch
that
people
should be
have heart
handled by
attacks.
town.
Right.
The new communications
Santa
person.
and Yahweh welcome you to
But I
Eastham.
think, you'd be able to post, it would be much easier to read
Mm-hmm.
than what the police have, that giant thing with the big
Mhm.
dots. this would be so much easier to read.
Love it.
And they'd be able to change it, you know, that we have all these meetings coming up. It could be, you know, selectmen's meetings tonight. You could have all these different things that come up. Plus, community events that, you know, and not just all the things
Happy
that the rec,
birthday,
that the
Kate.
rec does, but, you know, there are other, you know, maybe something that's happening at the senior center.
Happy
There's-
75th birthday, Kate.
There you go. You know?
That's not for 15 or 20 years.
At least.
But I mean, you could do all kinds of things, all our concerts, and it wouldn't just be concert on the green, it would be Sarah Swain and the Old Boys, and you could have all the names up there as they're appearing. You don't, not.
Next appearing, we could even change it as one concert's ending. Join us next week for.
But you
The
know what?
communications person
So-
could do
But
that.
then we get
But-
into the matter of.
But you see this? So here we are, some hasn't started, but we have the schedule. And so these graphics can be made today and scheduled to appear when you
I
want.
would love to do that. That would be so much fun. That's right up my creative alley. I love it.
But I don't know, I
High
just
school
think,
students kegger on the green,
Me?
2 AM.
see, the people that only have to put the banner up on occasion.
Yeah.
It's not such a big deal to them. But, I mean, just the chamber alone, how many times that I've had to go up and change it for this, change it for that, change it for other things. And there's a whole bunch of things who don't bother with because it's like, who wants to make a banner for it?
Right.
But this, more people could know,
Mhm.
you know?
It probably will catch on and everybody in the town will start using it.
Oh, I think so.
Do
And I
you
think,
think so, or will it take away from the quaintness of our town green and the windmill?
I
green?
think that there, you know what,
So
there are
I'm
gonna
sure
be
that- So that's-
people,
and
there are
that's
gonna be
that's a-
people
that's a-
that are
that's-
gonna have that connection.
that's a,
Because
well, some people just don't want change without even seeing it.
Well, and there are some people that, you know, because
not
I've
even
been
talking about
monitoring
that.
some of the stuff that's happening on Facebook around, you know, all of the stuff that's gonna be coming at town meeting and then the special meeting. And, you know, there's 3 voices that are spreading misinformation, and it doesn't matter what it is. I mean, they'll probably say that those LEDs cause cancer and people that drive by are probably gonna be, you know, whatever. I'm making this up, but it's
No, I was just
ridiculous.
wondering about the
you're right,
character
though.
of our.
And actually, it's a really fair
Just-
question because
I
the
think it's an
building,
important question
in-
that, you know, the town doesn't pay enough attention to what happens on, what the looks of Route 6 are. And they try to on occasion. We had a little bleep that they did something with the exterior improvement program that they had for 2 years. But it's like, oh, no more money and we're not gonna do that.
but they also in the discussions with the warrant, this new town center that they're looking at building,
Mhm.
it's going to have very specific guidelines as to,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
Aesthetic
window
guidelines.
aesthetic guidelines, and what they're doing moving forward
Mhm.
is anything that's built on Route 6, the parking lot will be behind.
About time.
So,
And sidewalks.
and sidewalks. I mean, you know, when family visits me, they have to cross Route 6 to get to a sidewalk. I just don't let them. I just drive them. And I take them to the bike trail because it's just not safe for them to walk on Route 6. So, yeah. I think this is, what a great idea. And aesthetically, if, you know,
And then-
because you can change the background.
Plus,
Aesthetically, you can
if
have
it
fun with it.
cancels, some event cancels,
Right.
it shouldn't take but a moment for
To change it
somebody in
and
the
say,
town hall or the police station.
due to imminent lightning,
just put that
our,
up there.
our concert is unfortunately delayed or or it could even be delayed, which is even better.
No, it's-
Okay, it's not, never mind.
I think that,
Too late.
No, because of the
It's
sound
just- yeah,
equipment,
so-
we
yeah,
can't,
yeah.
can't be getting water.
you know,
Right.
and this can be run by a couple of different town groups, so that, you know, when, Adam has offered, you know, he can put it up on a sign out front that we can do, well, no reason why they shouldn't be, that sign is gonna become obsolete.
Right, and if Adam's behind it,
Well, we haven't,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, we
don't
haven't
know
mentioned this
that,
to
too.
Adam.
I think we need a team
That's another step, but I think,
We
and the
just-
fire chief.
I think it's something that,
the
could work.
town could
And,
really
and you know, the
benefit
other
from.
thing is if there was suddenly, a dry spell where, you know, no outside burning. I mean, there could be tons of things that could be put
Mhm.
up for community benefit.
and all that money that usually goes, that is unspent, that goes into free cash every year, and maybe we can just dump it into here for a change.
Be nice.
If, only if they,
Fantasize about that.
only if they wanted to.
Mhm.
That's the key. And I'm not so sure because it's not active. It might fit even as partly funded by CPA funds
Mhm.
as active recreation. I mean, if you can,
There's a number of ways it could be fit into the budget.
you know, so, and that's why I didn't think, and also, do we do a lot of leasing for like vehicles or equipment or anything in town? I
DPW sure
don't-
leases, yeah.
No, leasing to others.
No, do we
No, we do
lease?
lease, DPW leases vehicles, I
Yeah.
think I saw that.
Because that's basically what this, when you see the monthly, it's 6 months. That's basically what you're looking at here. In other words, you could, let's just take the 4x6,
Mhm.
6mm LED. You could either pay 24,000 outright, or $23,099 outright, or pay $433.11 for 60 months. How much is that a year? Just over $5,000.
I'm looking now. 433.11,
Times 12.
is it 12 or is it?
It's
12
it's
months.
12. We're trying to find out what
Per
the
year.
annual hit would
What
be.
would it be per year?
5,200.
Okay, so $5,200 and you pay it for 5 years and you own it.
Yeah, versus coming up with the 23.
Yeah.
5 years, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 5 years.
So you'd end up paying
$433.
$26,000.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's clearly some finance
Finance stuff,
charges
yeah.
built into that, but.
Right. Oh, yeah, there's interest, but the thing is, I don't think that this is a price that the town can't handle.
Right.
You know, that you know, if they, maybe they'd prefer doing it as a lease, maybe it's easy for them to justify whatever the case is. But however, I just think that it's something that's affordable and it's top quality.
And-
Again, we have to find other companies, and I started doing that, but I haven't talked to anyone else. I just wanted to get
A
a
sense.
sense, what are these
I
things
think we
even
should
cost?
pursue it.
Because
Jim.
when I was looking at others, they were starting like at 40,000.
And I think we could pursue it. There's a lot of pros with this, and if it's presented to the select board and then to the finance committee, Rich would make the recommendation about how it best fits into the budget. I don't know what you're looking at for timing, but
Me? I'm
The-
not. I'm
the
retiring.
budgets, you
I'm-
know,
I'm done, is in May.
This is Jim's last meeting.
Oh, you're not coming to the May meeting?
I don't think so. When is it? I might still be.
Unless we have
19th
wine.
of
The
May.
19th, I might still be able to make them. Well, I don't know. It depends on how, hey, it's up to Kathy. She might kick me out early.
May 19th. at
she's not gonna kick
2:30.
you out
Okay.
early. She's gonna lasso you to tie you into a chair.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Anyway,
My sense,
I
my
wanted you
sense
to
would
have-
be, go for it.
I will send you the link
Great.
if it wasn't already on your email from before on this, but I'll send you this link to the presentation that he did,
Right.
which is just several panels. It's almost, you have to take your time looking at it because there's like one for each item. The 4x8, 6mm, 4x8, yeah, single-sided, and then 9, and then 12, and then 4x8 double-sided, 6mm, 9mm, 12.
Mm.
So there's like so many, but it also has some other information there,
So would you
including this here.
suggest then that, well, since
My-
you're not gonna be
My
involved,
suggested size,
no,
is-
no, before,
yeah.
not even getting that far.
Oh.
Just as a
We should have.
presentation or whatever to the town, is the new communications director, Kayla, is approach her about it?
No, because I wouldn't approach her yet because I don't know what,
Well, I don't know who to go
What's-
to in the town, because,
I think you basically have to start with Jackie Beebe.
And timing is everything.
and-
It's just-
Well, the other thing is, I think it's also better to make a presentation to the Board of Selectmen.
Absolutely, that, because they're the ones that control,
Before going to Jackie Beebe.
right.
well, that's.
And Jackie will be sitting
Yeah.
there in the select board meeting and Rich will be there and.
Yeah.
I think this is essential. I love
Would
it.
you be willing to give a presentation to the
At some-
select
At some
board?
point, I'm still
A
living here in
citizen.
town.
Yeah, well, only because you have a real handle on this, you sat through the presentation.
Well, yeah,
We'd be-
but like I said, there's so much more needs to be done. We need to
Absolutely,
find
yeah.
out at least two other companies that
companies,
are
yeah.
within reason that match up well with this.
And
Apples to
the other
apples,
thing is, Faith, that because they're in New Hampshire, they actually could come here and they could do a presentation to the select board
Well, they
at a
can,
select board.
you know
meeting.
what,
They could-
whether they do or don't, the one thing they can do, they can do a Zoom presentation.
That's what I mean
Um,
for them
Yeah.
at one of their
Because
meetings.
God only knows where this guy Trevor is located. But he could be out west for all I know.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
But I'll tell you, he's wonderful with responding right away. It's like, aren't you gonna get, oh my gosh.
And the glowing part about this is, no pun intended, is that they're American made and, so we don't have to worry about tariffs.
Well, that's
or,
what he
you
said.
know,
Right.
The price.
You know,
could be
because,
held.
one of the things that's happened here in town, it's this whole wastewater thing. We were all set to have it as part of town meeting, the wastewater stuff. It was all set to go because of the grants and because of the low interest loans and everything else. And then it had to be swept away. And then they were like, oh, whoops.
I just think it's great that we got the grant,
Right.
that we're eligible because.
More
we
than
weren't.
one. But
But
the
we
thing
weren't
is, we
even
have to answer by June 30th, and that's why
Right.
there's this special.
Yes,
What about the money that we collect for the 2.75% that is on top of the short-term rental tax that's specifically for wastewater for the Cape?
Right, Rich can
It's
answer
only
that.
charged to
He's
Cape.
got it
Is
he's got it in a bucket. I just couldn't answer that where. He's way better at just
Well, of
knowing
course.
where everything
Because I was
is.
confused and like, well, we're not getting any money. I'm like, well, where's
What
all the
happened to
money
all
that
the old
we're
money? Yeah.
collecting?
Mm.
You know,
yeah.
It's
strange
all
that we
he's,
don't.
'Cause
the
other towns are
just
getting it.
amazing. He's the way he can plan this stuff out, so,
Yeah.
Right guy for the job.
yeah, we're really lucky to have him.
Mhm.
Anything else?
not for me. Folks,
Nope.
any other business?
I have to go home and meet my handyman. He's going to open up my house for me.
Where have you been?
Well, with my knee, there are things that I really can't do.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he's gonna carry stuff out of my basement and
oh,
he's
Oh,
already
yeah.
power washed my whole deck. It looks brand new.
great.
It's a beautiful day. Wait till that pollen comes.
Well, the pollen has been, trust me, I haven't been able to breathe.
Um,
Do you need a motion?
Motion to adjourn,
I move to adjourn.
I'll second.
4:22.
4:22, okay.